An area more than twice the size of the city of Minneapolis has now burned in northern Minnesota, spreading resources thin across the most vast and dense wilderness we have. That's why, despite getting some much needed rain overnight and an influx of federal support, questions are lingering about the long fight ahead this summer. So tonight, Kent looked into the resources we do have and how federal cuts have complicated the math.
The level of fire danger in northern Minnesota right now is difficult to put into perspective.
We have never seen anything like this.
Jason Loomis says it's not the first time the National Incident Management Organization, or NEMO, has responded to fires in and around the Boundary Waters. But he says the weather fueling these fires has been
unprecedented. I don't think I need to tell the locals here 104-degree temperatures. I don't think I need to tell you all that that is unprecedented. That's the kind of stuff we see in Arizona and dry, arid climates, not up here in upstate Minnesota.
Weather started all of this, and most likely weather will end all of this. We will manage it until that time comes.
Right now, that management means prioritizing high-value areas. They evacuated 300 structures near the campfire earlier this week and are now shifting attention to the massive Bear Trap fire in an effort to stop the southern end of it from destroying cabins and homes that are now about a mile from Big Lake.
We only have so many resources to go around.
Loomis says 2 hotshot fire crews are on the way from Mississippi and New Mexico, which are highly skilled at digging lines in dangerous conditions. And tomorrow, a new incident command team will take over.
What they bring is a lot more capacity.
Today, the U.S. Forest Service confirmed that they are also adding capacity in another way.
I know we have had some former employees that are helping us with the firefighting efforts.
Nationwide, the Forest Service lost more than 5,800 employees amid federal cost-cutting efforts by DOJ last year.
I think they're starting to realize now that all the people that they let quit are needed.
Warner Vanderheel was a Forest Service firefighter for 23 years and now represents the union. Though the DOJ cuts themselves didn't target firefighters, he says many left and many other employees still play a critical role in times like these.
Everything that goes on behind the scenes, from feeding the firefighters, keeping them safe, medical stuff, vehicle things, supplies, 90% of those people are not primary firefighters.
We're taking care of our firefighters. People don't have to worry about that.
Federal and state leaders say they are working together to keep up, but fire is straining resources nationwide, and the weather isn't expected to put an end to things here anytime soon.
We're going to be dealing with these all summer. We need a weather pattern change, and most likely that comes with our first snow. So who wants to name the first snowstorm of the season? Maybe we do that.
Now, because the fires inside the BWCA will likely keep burning for months, there is no timeline to reopen, even partially. In fact, we learned today that 30 Forest Service Rangers are still out and about 3 days away from completing their evacuation plans, which they have to do by canoe. They believe almost everyone has left, but there is at least one group they are still tracking. Jana.
I can't even fathom how people are still in there with the amount of smoke and the heat up there. In terms of help that we need, maybe it's just those support people for firefighters. What do we have at the state level? Have we lost anybody there, or are we up to snuff?
Well, the state told us today that they are actually doing pretty well. They're managing, not only helping the federal fight there, but there's also 11 fires that are happening outside of federal lands. They said those are largely contained. Those are much smaller, but they said that they have been tapping resources all over, even in communities. They said it's the first time they've had firefighters, to their knowledge, staying on a houseboat because they've got people just pitching in and offering to help.
Well, we're going to need it for the long marathon of this, not the sprint as just at the beginning. Thank you so much, Kent. We'll be right back.